Hello, Internet. Welcome to my stream. I'm having another low sleep then stream day, so today's going to be a pretty chill one. Got some juicy things coming on up. Very excited about that. Also, some little air in my system there. Today, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to finalize some pull requests to Next.js. Pull requests, not even accepted work that they're definitely going to take in, just requests for them to take stuff following discussion. I'll more on that later. I've got a few GitHub notifications that I want to get to in the middle of the stream. And then I've got this personal blog that I've been working on migrating to a new thing for the longest time. I even saw a couple notifications on the old repo, but I'm moving it into my new personal site, which I'm very excited about. Just to give you a quick spoiler, because I'm so juiced about this new site. Look at this freaking thing. In comparison, dashboard.com/old has my old site. I do really miss the images fading in shenanigans. Those are nice. And look at that. But this new site, multi-page, so I can have a little bit better information hierarchy on each page. And then the blog is going to be its own thing. So very excited about that. If I put Bang Josh in the chat, I forget if that... I haven't looked at my stream elements links in a while. I guess Bang Josh doesn't work. And Stream Elements has re-offed. Thank you, Stream Elements, for doing that. What? Bang Josh. Why am I not being banged? There it is. Second time's the charm. Socials. Which, if I remember right, is... it just comes up as this horrible unformatted list. Let's Stream Elements new line in command. Can you do that? Only one liner? Ha! The Stream Elements community is protesting the Reddit whatevers. That's funny. Well, everything is linked on joshuakgoldberg.com. That's what it's going to be now. Save. Bang, socials. Love it. All right. User cooldown time, global cooldown time. Cool. Let's begin. I don't even remember what I said first. Finalizing pull requests to Next.js. All right, so github.com, Vercel discussions 37151. One of my favorite things. I'm going to post on the Twitter and such that I'm recapping this fun discussion about TS lint presets in Next.js. Boop. All the boops. So, Next.js. By default, when you create Next app -- TypeScript, they just have Next/core web vitals in your generated ESLint config. That is not ideal because Next/core web vitals only includes stuff specific to React and Next.js and related things. It doesn't actually include the recommended TypeScript stuff. That's not good. So we're going to go ahead and make a change to, or I'm proposing we make a change to Next.js, specifically create Next app. So actually the tooling around Next.js. So that when you do include -TypeScript, includes, extends Next core vitals and Next/TypeScript. Or at least just a TypeScript ESLint recommended requiring type checking. Actually, I should note that this discussion was written when we were on V5, and in V6, which released a couple weeks ago, a week and a half or two, edit updated for this V6 streamlining of the config. Now you can just extend. Oh my god, where did it go? Why did it scroll me all the way down? You can just extend from TypeScript ESLint recommended type checked. And actually, there are two places in this discussion where I can mention that. So, where is it? Here we go. Let's update. I just got a beep. You ever just get a phantom beep on your system and you don't know who beeped you or why? But also I'm streaming, so I'm not just going to start checking all my notifications. That's not good. Anyway, cool. Um, I talked a bit with Anthony Shu. Shout out Anthony, great person. Anthony streams on Twitch, I'm pretty sure. Do I have? I don't have that. Oh, I did. There we go. So I'm gonna give Anthony a shout out. I have like 2 viewers right now. Not the most impactful thing I've ever done. Oh, 2 days ago. How fast can I make ESLint? Oh, wish I'd tuned into that. I think that's busy. Anyway, Anthony chatted a bit and talked with Tim Nutkens, who co-authored Next.jS Linting. What a freaking resume. And I made a React PR. So if we go to Next.js, pull Josh Goldberg. It's actually not the first time I've sent stuff to Next.js. I've done like a couple of bug fixes and a docs shindig. So this is the PR. Jinx Dev, hello, welcome to the chat. Is Next.js app directory stable to use? Technically, yes. In my experience, it's pretty good, but still relatively new. So it's not as well fleshed out as Pages. Community docs aren't as good. The error messages can be sometimes kind of confusing. But I have actually written like a real, quotes, real website with it. Tide lift to, God dang it. There we go. This thing, sample site that uses it. It's pretty great. The dev experience. I actually really think this site is great too. So that too. I liked it. Yeah, you know what? It's somewhere on my YouTube. Let's see if I can. I'm not saying you should just go watch this video. I'm just trying to get it as a reference. Where is it? Yeah, it's just the. It just wasn't as good of a dev experience as Pages. I'm trying to remember to actually answer your question. I think it was that the error messages were just very cryptic when I got stuff wrong. Yay! Glad you're gonna watch. Like I spent a lot of time trying to do things in a way that I think makes sense, where like I could have like pre-filling at the forum and submitting on a debounce or throttled time when you type in. And I ended up just giving up on that stuff and then just going with like remix style server actions. I don't know if remix style is still accurate since a lot of React stuff is moving towards that approach. So yeah, the end result of this repo is actually it's actually fairly straightforward. Under the app, we just have page, and there's like a single there we go, and a single await in the app/page component that is based on the options taken in from search params. Yeah, it's honestly, I really like it. I'd recommend it just to experience something new if you haven't done app before. And if you're making a new site, it is the future. It's like objectively long-term better architecture than Pages. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Cool. Thanks for asking, by the way. Good question. If there's anything else you, Jinx Dev, or anyone else wants to chat about, happy to. I'm using Next.js and React for like a bunch of random projects, like conference sites. And then my personal site is actually Astro and Solid, just to shake things up a bit. But cool. So I started working on this change. First thing I did was I changed, here we go, all these template files. So previously, I investigated and saw that the way that Create Next App works is based on which settings you're running with. It just has a bunch of like different template files that get copied in. So like app tw for Tailwind /ts has this stuff, which has an eslintrc.json. So I'm just gonna throw that in the chat because we don't really need a permalink. Boop. Example eslint config from create next app. There you go. Ooh, and that's on my fork. So Vercel /Next.js blob. What is it? Canary. There we go. Canary prod version. There we go. Chrissy, always happy to see you. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so first thing I didn't even make a Next.js preset. I just set it to extend typescript-eslint recommended type checked, and I think this actually passed the build stuff locally. They don't run, doesn't look like they run build stuff on draft unapproved PRs from external community people. So I don't know, but I ran stuff locally. Then I also, as a second change, which I think I'm going to want to split out, I also changed the ESLint RC for the Next.js monorepo, the thing they use in development, not shipped to consumers, to devs, to, instead of having a bunch of rule overrides and blah, 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 actually extend from the recommended typescript-eslint rules, also our stylistic recommendations. And then for each rule that had a lot of complaints, my standard practice, which I will eventually, I've been saying for a long time, I'm going to blog about this. I'm going to write like a blog post saying just like disable them in a giant to-do, investigate for each of these rules whether we want them. Ooh. I'm not against discussing breakdowns. I don't know which breakdown you're referring to, but I'm not against discussing them in chat. But I will say that we should be very mindful and careful. So hope everyone is doing okay. Hope you're all right. Cool. Anyway, yeah, so what I'm going to do today now... oh my god, you're referencing Arcane. Oh, sorry. Like, oh no, someone had a breakdown. Fun fact, I haven't watched Arcane, but I have been jamming out like you would not believe to specifically the instrumental version of the song, which is on the soundtrack for Arcane, Enemy. It's like Enemy isn't even like an Arcane specific song. There's like an original song that then I think they like Turbo Knight, Van Durand, Ryan Ward. I like don't know who 2/3 of those people are. Anyway, Enemy instrumental. What a great song. Oh my god. I'm just copying to the clipboard. Anyway, I'm guessing Jinx had like a breakdown. Jinx, the character from League of Legends and Arcane. Great stuff. This song is so good. I would play it. Is Arcane a video game? Oh. Cool. Jinx Punsty's Arcane. Cool. Yeah, she's like super recognizable. I've seen a lot of cosplay from her. Also, she and V seem really cool, but I've never actually... Oh, good. She's a demented killer. That's nice. Thank you, League of Legends, fandom. I remember I once talked to someone who had worked on the fandom team. It's like a company that had like done a whole like rework and like restructure around the infra for a lot of these sites. Lots of ads, but apparently they did a lot of work to make the whole thing performant. Unified sidebar, good stuff. Anyway, back to Next.js. Love that song though, so good. I would play it. I just don't like music on streams personally as a viewer. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up into 2 PRs. Yeah, back to Next.js. Large original PR. I'm going to do is I'm going to split out the changes to the ESLint config and assorted source files, if there are any of them, into their own PR and send that separately, referencing the discussion, saying, hey, just letting you know these are the changes that would make. So I'm going to do that now. Opening my Warp terminal, code Next.js. What a great image. All right. I don't know what I was working on here, so I'm just going to revert that. Git checkout. Canary. Let me know if this zooming level isn't enough. Clear. So if I go to eslintrc.json, the root one, I'm just going to copy what I had changed in this file. Oh, I guess I can do the fancy schmancy. Practice my git checkout, branch name, --eslintrc.json. That's not the file. .eslint tab to complete, rc.json. Okay. npm run lint. So that should run a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. They do a bunch of stuff in the default lint command, but lint-eslint was the one that specifically runs eslint dot. Cool. And then I think I did actually make a behavioral change in at least one file. Where was it? Let's search for .ts. Aha! url.ts. On line 80. Oh good, my editor. Let me just make sure eslint is still working if I restart it. Yeah, I made a couple changes. Fun fact, this is actually like a code quote-unquote defect caught by the typescript-eslint no unnecessary type constraint rule. You don't need to extend from unknown for your generics, your type parameters. It does nothing. So, boop. Delete that. We are a number now from last stream. This is fun. Another thing, packages, next, and index, line 83. So this is like a fun thing about type systems. It can be very difficult to correctly type code that loops over the keys of an object because the type system is structural or nominal. Like, let me just show you a quick example. Function, loop, have loop, and get loop over one key, and this just has like stuff which has like a string. For const key of object.keys stuff. So key is actually, if you use this little like 2/ assertion, key is, I don't have the 2/ thing in my editor, but key is a string, not the literal a, because you can do wacky stuff like loop over one key a, thing b2. If you pass the object literal directly, typescript-el, but if you other thing, TypeScript is structural. All it cares is that if your param has a structural type that happens to match up with this, you're happy. So here the key would actually be A or B. And I actually go over this in one of the articles on learningtypescript.com. Where is it? Object function, no. Maybe I don't. Oh, I don't. I think Matt Pocock was, how do you say his last name? I've looked him up before for other things I see. Where is it? He was tweeting about this. Oh, look, he just passed 107 followers. 100.7k followers. Good for him. Ooh, what a juicy set of discussions. I love Matt's tweets, by the way. It's like so much good TypeScript stuff. Where is it? Where is it? I know he tweeted about the... Haha! There we go. Found it. Unnecessary side tangent. You're welcome, viewers. Cool. So, yeah, just because it's practically impossible for TypeScript to be strict and still usable about object loops. So we just ignore that result.parse as a question mark, and then there's an exclamation mark at the end. Long story. Don't care. Anyway, back to here. In middleware plugin.ts, we got similar lint complaint that an optional chain expression can return undefined by design. Using a non-null assertion is unsafe and wrong, which is true. If value doesn't exist, then why are we asserting that the result of toString does exist? But turns out we just didn't care in the type system. So the exclamation mark did nothing. Hooray! And then source client index.tsx. Here we go. Webpack public path is complaining. Both TypeScript and typescript-eslint are complaining that it's assigned a value but never used. So in theory, one would want to declare constant, but it actually is assigned to in this file. Oh yeah, I remember what I'd done, why I was commenting here. So we disabled the no one used vars complaint because this is used by tooling external to this file. Tangents are assigned to genius keys. Point Mad Hatter. First of all, thank you. I appreciate you saying it. Second of all, fun fact for those who aren't familiar, why Mad Hatter? Well, fun fact, hatters back in the day were mad because they used mercury in like hat making. So they all went literally insane. Like they lost their mental facilities due to their profession. Fun fact about that. But thank you. I know that's not what you were comparing me to. I just think it's fun. Anyway, another cool fun thing to go over, another tangent to show that I'm a genius. Yeah, fun fact, right? Is that if you have too big of a number literal in JavaScript, it just loses precision because JavaScript uses, what is an IEEE float? What is it called? And no loss of precision. Yeah, 64-bit floating point rounding. So, boop. So we just disable it for this file. Because this is from some other code. It does make sense, right? Really cool. I love it, like knowing these like cool little reasons behind things. Like it makes sense on its own, but like the concept of the Mad Hatter is just a cool character. But when you know the backstory, it's like, oh yeah, nifty. Anyway, I'm also noting that in TypeScript-eslint, we added support for numeric separators because that's a TC39 proposal to allow numbers to have underscores in them. The underscores do nothing. It's just making it easier for the number to be read. Look at that, 1 million, or billion, pardon me. Easier to be read, misreads the first number. But, I think we added this because TypeScript supported numeric separators when the proposal was stage 3 through the 4 stages of getting something added to JavaScript. Looks like we might not need that anymore. By the way, I added this little open and playground link. I'm very proud of that. So that's cool. Looks like we don't need the rule anymore. So I'm going to file an issue suggesting we deprecate it. New issue. What do I even... Ooh. Report a bug. New rules. I don't even know what... We so wish these issue forms were more configurable. You could have like a wizard or something. We have like a bajillion of them, but still, there's not one for the actual thing that I want. Is new rule? No. Bug in a rule? No. I do hate not going through the format. But anyway, I don't think we need this. Consider deprecating no loss of precision now that it ESLint supports what are they called again? Numeric separators? This thing states that it exists to add let me just copy and paste. Yeah, it gets the link. Add support for numeric separators to the base ESLint. But numeric separators are now stage 4, have passed stage 3 and are in run and are natively supported in ESLint, I believe. Example, ESLint playground with the rule working on a numeric separator. Number with a numeric separator. Let's see. The recommended rule set. All rule sets that contain this. This would be a breaking change, so perhaps deprecating the rule in V7 and removing in V8 makes sense. Oh, we have docs on this actually. Fun fact, docs on maintenance rule deprecations. So I'll say we just have to file. Oops. We'll want to follow the steps in our docs. What do we do? Oh, we can new issue bypassing templates. I forgot I added that. Interesting. So I actually remember requesting now source graph queries showing how often it appears in user configs. So yeah, so this is a fun little past issue about deprecating no type alias. Awesome. And it has awesome little source graph searches. So for those who haven't used it, source graph is like a super powered, way snazzier version of the GitHub global code search. So I'm just gonna copy and paste my issue over deprecates no loss of precision. You know, I'm gonna add a little knife emoji. Love it. Name, link to its docs page. Let's see. And I don't know, I'll have to search for whether it exists in these two things, but for now, I'll just search in, ooh, yeah, let's look in source graph. So I searched for no type alias. Now I'm going to search for typescript-eslint / no loss of precision. So I'm just curious how many people use it. If it's like used in 9,000,001 repos, then maybe we should not deprecate, but a couple hundred, less than a couple hundred. Source graph query showing it used in less than 200 repos. This doesn't seem like a particularly high impact common user specified rule for users to explicitly specify. Makes sense to me given that it's in the base recommended config and has been for a while. Alright, so I also asked for, is it in these popular configs? Let's see. Can I just link to this? How does that look? Let's go to the main version of this. Blob, main. Are they still on master? Yes, they are. And no loss of precision. Copy permanent. Yeah. ESLint config Airbnb TypeScript. Yes. And then ESLint config standard with TypeScript. And let's do these have the main branch? No. They're also like the other one is still on master. Yep. No loss of precision. Yes, they are. I remember this now. They loop over the equivalents to the typescript-eslint version. Typescript-eslint / whatever. All right. Yes. Preview. Oh, I added an extra parentheses. Disk, not formatting. What did I label the other issue? Except requires enhancement package. Okay, so I'm just going to put as triage and then package ESLint plugin. Cool. I'm a maintainer, but I'm not the only maintainer. And we like to make sure that someone else looks at things like deprecating a rule that a lot of people use in the recommended config. Actually explicitly say rule extension. Actually, I want to be very clear here. Proposal. TLDR. I propose we remove the rule extension because the base rule contains all its features. I'm not proposing. I just want to be very clear. I'm not proposing we remove the base rule, or more accurately, or ask ESLint to. Yeah, I just want to be very clear that I'm not poo-pooing the rule at all. I'm just saying our extension of it is no longer necessary. Also, I really have to use the bathroom, so apologies, folks. I'm going to run a 1-minute ad break. I'll be right back. Mute myself real quick. All right, I am back. That was about a minute, yeah. Cool. So I just filed this. I'll post in the chat. Let's aside. Noticed maybe we can remove one of our rule extensions so folks can more directly just use the base eslint rule. I'll be very clear whenever I say deleting something what I'm suggesting or not suggesting we delete. Burned before. Alright, back to what I was actually doing. Next.js. We said zoom my word. All right, so I've got this nice little PR, or rather in progress thing. Gonna run lint again. Check out the typescript-eslint recommended internal. Now I will note this only enables. Here we go. This only enables the recommended rule sets from typescript-eslint, not recommended or stylistic type checked. That would be a nice thing to do next. And I tried it out, but I got an out of memory issue. The problem with recommended type checked is that it uses the type checker, which if you have a large repository such as the large Next.js monorepo, that can be slow to the point of using up a lot of time or even all of your memory space in JavaScript. Robots is already declared in the upper scope. I think this is an existing complaint, 565. So having type checked run would be a nice follow-up. We have some experimental performance work being done on the inside for us, and then also their lint is just eslint dot. One could switch to like a monorepo approach where each package is linted separately. All right, so export type robots equals robots file. So this is already declared in the outer scope. This is, I think, an existing complaint from No Shadow. It's a warning. And it's some kind of namespace thing. So I don't care. Anyway, so get add all, get status. Just curious. Look, do they use log? Get log dash dash one line. What do they call? So they have the occasional like chore is what they call it. Sometimes they just sometimes they use semantic or conventional commit names. Sometimes they don't. So that's cool. Get add all, get commit chore, enable typescript eslint recommended and stylistic configs internally. Get push u origin typescript eslint recommended internal. And also, just to be safe, while I'm sending that PR, I'm going to check out canary and PM from lint, just to see does this actually complain on the canary branch, the main one. Internally. All right. So while this is running, I'm going to fill out the description. I don't need to improve docs or change examples. It's just an internal thing, not fixing a bug, not adding a feature. I'm not a maintainer. So yeah, spinning out from, oh, I forgot, it's not lint, it's silly goose. Lint-eslint, but also if I just go back to the file, I see it's a squiggly just to be safe. Restart the eslint server. Yep, it's still there. Spinning out from, where is it? Boop, boop, boop. That discussion. Draft PR 52845. This enables the two basic recommended rule sets from TypeScript eslint. Eslint.io locally on the Next.js for the Next.js monorepo source code. Oh, so this was also an existing failure. So I didn't even need to complain about this. Get checkout. So I'm going to do is get reset soft head. Gonna delete this comment. Add all. Git commit and amend. Git push force. I could have like done that a little more smoothly, but whatever. So while I'm here, I'll just document the two configs. One of the reasons why I do this work for free for company-sponsored project is because I want people to understand like the best practices around this. And this is really good marketing for us as a project. And who knows, maybe down the roads they'll become a sponsor. Plugin, typescript-eslint recommended, and stylistic. And how do I describe these? Recommended rules. Our base recommended rules for code that detects common bugs or TypeScript bad practices. Non-stylistic. Our base starting stylistic recommendation for keeping code bases visually consistent and avoiding out of practice visual constructs. Note that this only enables the rules, the presets internally. It doesn't impact what end users of Next.js published packages such as Next.js or create Next app experience. I'll send that. That's a separate task in the other doc. All right, and let's see if I refresh, just to see what the, oh no, what did I do? Git log. Oh no, I accidentally messed with history in a way that combines my changes onto a previous commit. So I'm just gonna git pull, god dang it, git reset hard canary. Okay, so I messed up my history. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just get cherry, pick the commit hash, which is still known locally. Oh, god dang it. Get reset. Actually, wait. I think all my changes, yeah, my changes are just, there we go. Very nice, very good. So I'll just get in the right commit name. Awesome. I git add all, git stash, git reset hard, canary, git status, stash pop. Okay, awesome. So I reset my history to the canary branch and then reapplied the changes on top. So now I get push force. I'm up to date with the origin, my forked repo on GitHub, and then my changes are just that one commit. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Any code changes are commented in line. So let's just relook. I extend from the two preset configs. I remove unnecessary parser options. We don't need ECMA version anymore, and JSX. You don't need to set it to true. TSX files are always considered JSX by default in typescript-eslint because that's how TypeScript does it. I removed a bunch of overrides. Actually, I should mention that here. In doing the process I used is pretty standard. I actually have an issue. See for other repos it was done on. So yeah, for reference, how I did things for trying out v6 in a lot of major repos. Boop. So yeah, I just before we released v6, I tried out the beta on a bunch of repos, and I used the same process here that I'm doing now. Let's see. One, enable the base presets. Remove unnecessary parser options. And I'll just start. Enable base presets. Remove any rule settings that are now redundant. Enable those base recommended. Add a group, a to-do group, list of disabled rules, comment, and below it add a disable for, I'm going to say, and under it, add a disable for any rule that immediately reported a lot of complaints. Any code changes are mentioned in line. Also, disable any rule that didn't seem to make sense for this code base, and then add a to comment for any rule. Okay, yeah, so that is my process. For each of these, do we want them? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh yeah, I should add it, reconfigure any rule whose default settings didn't seem to make sense for this code base. Awesome. So what I did was remove a bunch of stuff, add a few explicit ones. Happy. Code change, I'll comment. Code change, unnecessary, disable. Awesome. I wish you could put comments in draft PRs, or in not even drafted, unsent PRs. That way I could send draft with the comments. But whatever. This is fine. Hooray! Made the draft PR. Look at all these people who get added. Do you have any idea how intimidating it is, by the way, to have people like the co-creator of Next.js MDX and Lee Robinson, VP Dev Experience at Vercel, added to your PR? Freaking Shu Ding, who's like I don't know, like a React person. I don't remember what they've done. I just know it's been a lot. Like all these people. Oh yeah, the web tooling group at Vercel. This is fine. All right, split out the PR. Adding comments. The Next.js PR for enabling rules internally. Set config internally, adding comments to the draft now. Great. Let's add these comments. All right. What is our default ECMA version? Just looking at this. Let's side by side so we can view both at once. Looking at the ECMA version. Per this thing, 2018 is the default now. Unnecessary configuration line. And I'm going to say this is also unnecessary configuration. Where is it? JSX. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Per parser hash JSX. Although it defaults to false, the TypeScript compiler will always parse these files and files with JSX. True. I think. Are there odd situations I didn't notice? So I think this is unnecessary, but maybe they're doing something weird. Anyway, these groups are explained. Then let's look at the complaints. Unnecessary type constraint. Extends unknown, doesn't do anything for a generic type parameter. Dead type system code. Yay. Here, our favorite, I don't want to say favorite, no one ever likes playing favorites, but our beloved, where is, I'm getting in the chat, see from our friend Matt Pocock about why I'm not going to try to get this working perfectly. Yeah. Shout out Matt Pocock. Does Matt Pocock Twitch? Just look him up. Matt Pocock. Ha, he does. I follow. Okay, good. I do follow him. Yay. I'm gonna shout out. Oh, look at him. He also passed a milestone here recently. Good for him. Ah, he's streaming on Monday. Boop. Wonder if Matt and Alex are related. Or Torin. Anyway, moving on. I forget what the rule for this was. What the name of it? 468. I should really know all these rules. All 100 plus of them by heart. And yet, here we go. No non-null asserted optional chain. In theory, putting a bang, this must exist after a question mark. This might not exist is almost certainly a sign of something being wrong in the type system understanding of the code. Here, the bang didn't do anything because I think npm build, npm lint. Pretty sure that imported module is any because node. I mean, get out of here with the git lens. What type is this? Because node is any. Type any. Just make sure the builds are still working. I'm going to leave this pending just to make sure that, like, if I build information, then like this doesn't start failing or whatever. Anyway, moving on. Because this is copy pasted from an external reference, I don't think we really needed to source that deals with numbers. Flag for precision. Correct behavior around numeric precision. For reference, I'll just put the no loss of precision. Rule and links to the, and also this issue, noting that the typescript-eslint over extension might not be necessary anymore. Captain Wolfred, thanks for joining. How you doing? And that's the last one. Oh, you know what? I forgot to pin the things to the channel, so let's pin that. Come on, build. Ah, love it. So we have 2 complaints from ESLint. Those already existed on the main branch. Canary. So that's nice. But PNPN build passed, so I'm happy. Okay. So add single comment. Ooh, a complaint. And build and test, maybe. Oh yeah, this is a Next.js thing. I always get annoyed at how not super granular a lot of GitHub actions or setups are for the build tasks. This just gives like a generic fail, but the actual failure message is CI workflow comment has not been approved. So I, as an external contributor, can't get this CI to run. All right. I also didn't fix any existing warning from the canary branch. Would you like me to do that? My preference would be a separate PR to get it in more quickly. All right, so this, I feel comfortable undrafting this. I've documented all the things. I'm not allowed to run CI, so hell if I know whether it's working. The tests are running, so that's nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna ready for review it. Hooray! Nice. I love a PR description that has a couple lists. An ordered list and unordered. Cool. Next up, I also wanted to, separately from this, I wanted stylistic in create next app TypeScript. Why is dash next dash? Oh, they're using some integration. Okay. Fixes number starts on this. Or actually, I think it just fixes. Cool. So checking out this PR, PHPR checkout. Ugh. Repo set default. By the way, if anyone wants to talk about anything, code, TypeScript, Next.js, open source, life, whatever, hit me up. Let me know. GHPR, check out this thing. Great. Git pull, git log. So I did make the one change. So I'm gonna undo the vast majority of the stuff that I changed. So I don't want to change the ESLint locally. I do want to change the Oh. In my other PR, I forgot to update the version of TypeScript ESLint. Oh geez. Git add all, git reset hard head, GHPR checkout this. Package JSON. I'm silly. I had previously installed on this repo and then forgot. What version of PNPM are we using? So I need to update the package. Yeah, update the package JSON and lock file. Whoops. Forgot to check in package JSON and lock file changes. What? Oh, it's not dash install, it's just install. Whoopsie. Waiting for the install. And why is this complaining? You know what? Instead of installing manually, what I'm going to do is go to the pull request. And I'm just going to, the other pull request. I'm just going to check out the files manually. Check out this thing. Package, JSON, PNPM, lock.yaml, get status. Did this file, this PR also forget to change the root package JSON for the PNPM lock? Wait, what branch am I on? I'm on recommended internal. So I'm checking out the PNPM lock.json get status. Oh, did I actually remember to check in? What? What is happening? Why is the lock file not updating? So if we go to the pack, I see what I did. I undid my local. What? I hate this. Let's change you back. TypeScript-eslint. What is happening? What is files? npm-lock. So in the other PR, which is the enable TypeScript recommended git checkout thing pnpm lock.yaml. It's not changed. God dang it. Git checkout this thing. Aha! There we go. I was behind. So now if I go back to my local branches, git checkout, TypeScript. My God, this was so much more convoluted than it should have been. Silly. Git status, git add all, git. Whoops. Forgot to check in package changes. All right, there we go. That's better. Happy, happy, happy. Okay. So I'm just going to mark that pnpm lock is viewed. 5,000 changes in a 10K line file. Yeah. If they want me to use a different pnpm version or something, then they'll have to do that themselves. Okay, and the package.json, just making sure that's changed. Yep. Aside, I'm not sure the pnpm YAML was updated correctly on my end, or errors, retries in the install. You might want to do it yourself or yell at me to put more effort into making sure it works. Cool. Love a snarky at self comment. Great. All right. Yay. So next up, let's go to the PR that existed previously. Git checkout, enable, TypeScript eslint recommended. Not my favorite branch name, but whatever. All right. So looking through the changes here, what I want to do now is remove all the changes I made in the enable internally thing. So remove package JSON, remove pnpm lock. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. Oh yeah, no, it updated the lock file and such. Okay, so great. Recommended type check. You know what? What I'm actually gonna do is in the discussion I had suggested Next/TypeScript. So I'm gonna find a replace to that, because Core Web Vitals is like an internal thing, and I want to also do a TypeScript.js extension. So extends plugin next at Core Web Vitals. So I'm gonna say Next/TypeScript. Next/Core Web Vitals. What is Core? Aha. Comes from an. Oh my God. What is this? So Core Web Vitals has pages / oh, this is test integration. What is the Core Web Vitals rule set actually come from? Is this like set in code or something? So I don't want anything from examples. I don't want anything from packages. Create next app. Next. Aha! Here we go. This is where it's at. Plugin ESLint config next source index.ts. So this is where they're defining the Core Web Vitals preset, linter preset, ESLint preset for for Next.js. So they have the recommended, which has a bunch of @next stuff, and then they also have core vitals. So I'm going to also add TypeScript. So we can do next/TypeScript. Now I'm kind of wondering. Whether I even want to do this. Yeah, why not? So can we extend plugin typescript-eslint recommend type checked? Yeah, I'm wondering if we even want like a Next.js specific thing, or if it wouldn't make sense to just go with what I had before. I think for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go with what I had before of, yeah, I'm just going to go with recommended type checked for all of them. Boop. And let's delete that. Delete these. Yeah, let's do that. And I don't need these changes here. ESLint config next. Yeah, I do want those changes where I add the ESLint plugin to the list of things that are resolved. All the examples should have the latest version of TypeScript ESLint. That's good. And then to do, Josh explained. In addition to the Next.js ESLint rules, create next app TypeScript. We'll also add the recommended TypeScript ESLint rules. How do I phrase this? We'll also add TypeScript ESLint's base recommended rules to your config. And let's see if I can pull up one of those files. See. So this is why I was kind of going back and forth on whether I want to do this. I think it might come across as kind of self-promoting for me to be like, hey, look at my website, my project docs. This is my project. Insert it into Next.js. And I'll note this in the PR of like, hey, I considered adding a TypeScript internal thing as described in the issue, and the reason why I didn't is A, it's more complexity, B, it's good for people to know where these rules actually come from, and C, as of V6, it's only one line. So like previously we would have had to enable 2 or 3 lines. Now it's just 1. So I'm happy with this. Where's the configurations? See. So I'm going to see, what am I going to see? ESLint configs for details on those recommended rules. Tip. Always, does this mention you can disable? Oh, it doesn't mention disabling. Okay, good. Good. So I'm happy with this docs. I'll note in the PR, I'm not a docs person by nature. Like, I don't personally find it easy to write docs in a way that are like super approachable and understandable and clear. So I'm not confident in this line. It's just, or these lines, it's just a starting suggestion. And then also it's dependent on, do you want the approach from the discussion or the simpler one that I've set up here? Great. So just confirming, package JSON. What happens if I revert all these changes? Then if I do packages, so the one thing is create next app now uses the latest version, but it's already desynced from the root package JSON. So if I go to the root and npm npx-y pnpm at the version install to try to install the new version because it's a error invalid this. Oh, you know what? I might be on too new of it. Yeah. I'm on node 20, which kind of not every older versions of tools don't always support, and because they're on PNPM 7, which I don't think fully supports node 20, or apparently at all, I have to downgrade, which actually makes sense for the other PR too. So that worked. Got some complaints. Let's see my PNPM block. Oh yeah, it's not so bad. Just versions changing, some hash files. Happy. Git add all, git log, git commit feats. Use typescript-eslint recommended type checked in create next app TypeScript. Actually, that's not what I called this PR. Oh yeah, I didn't enable stylistic. Otherwise, that actually is what I called the PR. Recommended. God dang it. I hate how in GitHub, if you start renaming and you mess it up, it ends up just this long trail of rename. Very irksome. Git push force. This differs slightly a bit from the discussed approach. I started, for simplicity's sake, now that typescript-eslint v6 is out. It started inline. I didn't start anything inline yet, but I will now. Alright, I'm not super confident in these docs. Writing in the Next.js/Vercel style is very new to me. Seeking suggestions for how to improve. These are also dependent on the strategy that ends up being taken for where to place the TypeScript preset. So in the linked discussion, whatever it was, 37151, I suggested creating a next TypeScript preset. The advantage of that would be having a single place that can store and customize the TypeScript-eslint recommendations. A disadvantage, this PR doesn't yet do that because as of TypeScript-eslint v6, it's just one line to enable recommended with and without type checking. Creating a new next preset is a bit more plumbing. Do you all have a preference? That is having a single place, not farming out to an external tool. Both. I do feel awkward putting my own project here. Do y'all have a preference? Yep. Additionally, this doesn't enable our new stylistic type checked. So many configurations. Preset. The stylistic ones are new to TypeScript. DN Bull, first time chat. What a Thanks, are you rating me? Oh, you are. Hi. Wow, it scrolled by that immediate. You don't use ESLint. Huh, I wonder if this message was coordinated in some way. Some kind of smear campaign. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming over. I'm so glad none of you use ESLint because now I can help you fix that in yourself because that's a glaring fault and problem with all of you. So glad that we can discuss this today. Train bots. Ooh, wow. You neither use ESLint nor have a soul. I mean, one follows the other, right? Not using ESLint, not having a... Okay, cool. Anyway, let me just... thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it. Thanks. Appreciate you. Thanks for rating. Let me just finish writing this comment and I'll give you all a quick summary of what's going on. You can read about them in our announcements. TLDR, I'm sending a submission, a couple PRs to Next.js. Do you all have a preference? So here is the backing discussion. So it's got links to the two PRs I sent. Basically, Next.js, the project, when you create a new Next.js app with Create Next App, it doesn't enable a lot of lint rules for you with ESLint rules. And I find that to be irksome, a missing feature, nice to fix, because in TypeScript ESLint, which is the project that I'm one of the maintainers of, or the tooling that lets you ESLint and prettier your TypeScript code, we have a bunch of really good recommended base starting rules in our recommended preset configs. So I've been trying to market to frameworks like Next.js, Remix, soon I'll start with Astro, saying, hey, you should really enable our recommended rules for your users by default. Comments. Twitch won't let you follow, keeps working out. What a bug in Twitch, oh no. So yeah, just quickly linking the two pull requests. Where are they? There's this one, which enables the new TypeScript ESLint v6 presets internally to the Next.js repo. No end user changes, I believe. And then there's also this one, which actually changes create next app when TypeScript is specified to also enable TypeScript ESLint's recommended rules. So you all immediately came into my channel, which was having a lovely time, and then posted a bunch of I don't use ESLint messages. Thank you again for that. That made my day. Just curious, what is everyone's experience with ESLint? Do you actually use or not use it? Do you have opinions? Secondary question, same one with TypeScript. Do you use it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Also, what was Thax up to? Any SST shenanigans, Twitter drama, etc.? What's going on in the world? Unfortunately for you all, I'm mostly done with this Vercel Next.js change. So you're going to have to watch me transition over to maintaining the TypeScript ESLint repo. It's the new Webpack. I love that. Yeah, configuring ESLint can be a pain. The ESLint team actually is making a new flat config, which I'm really excited. I'm just going to post the blog post here. The next major version of ESLint is going to emphasize it a bunch. It's got a backwards compatibility layer, kind of like Next.js supporting both pages and app. They'll support both for a long time. But yeah, they're helping simplify it. And I think one of the things we've been doing in TypeScript ESLint is try to make the recommended presets a little better, more accurate to what people actually want, a little more granular, so you do have the ability to turn off or on our stylistic rules. But yeah, it can be a bit of a pain. +1 to that, Sock the Dev, I agree. And you're the only person who's responded, which means you all love ESLint. Yay! And TypeScript. So this PR, like my other one to Next.js, it's not actually running the build because I'm an external contributor and those need to be enabled manually for security reasons. You don't want randos just running code in your CI. Love security. So these are basically ready to go. Just make sure I always post everything on Twitter. So for 8, and now updated the original PR. Did I already post the link to the PR? Yes, I did not, so I'm posting now. By the way, if y'all are interested in me or what I do, I'm a full-time open source maintainer in the TypeScript ecosystem. Reach out to me if you want to chat on Blue Sky, Mastodon, for me, Fastodon, Twitter, GitHub, Twitch, YouTube. I'm all of them. Joshua K. Goldberg. Love the question, Sock the Dev. What's my go-to ESLint config, e.g. Airbnb? I actually maintain my own template TypeScript node package with a whole bunch of tooling. This is the strictest preset template I have ever seen in the TypeScript ecosystem because I'm a strict person. And this has, oops, not the source, ESLint, my personal starter ESLint config. It is a chomker. I have an explicit comment at the top saying, hey, this is a lot more than what most people do. So don't look at this and think, oh my God, I need to have over 150 lines of ESLint config. But the TLDR is I enable a bunch of extensions for good rule presets and a bunch of overrides so that ESLint can support Markdown and YAML formatting. Just going through this real quick. Plugin Markdown recommended with the Markdown processor. Also, I have JSDoc, the ESLint plugin JSDoc package, which links your JSDoc comments, as well as I use TypeScript ESLint's strict rule sets and stylistic. So strict is like a superset of recommended. I also disable rules that don't make sense for me, which is a pro tip that a lot of people just never think of. Oh, this rule is complaining all the time. Maybe I should just not use the rule. For other than Markdown TS files, I enable type checking on my lint rules, so they're more powerful, they're a little slower. I also have the deprecation plugin, so if I use something that's marked in JSDoc at deprecated, it yells at me. I have a JSON C, so JSON with comments parse that I use for JSON and JSON C files. Turn off a few rules for test files. I lint my YAML files with ESLint. With a few sort keys and sort sequence values, which make me very happy. And then, yeah, just going through the base plugins. No only tests. It's a good one. Did I enable it anywhere? Yeah. And then import extensions so that local files are imported with .js because this is a node template. Yeah, let me know how this goes. I'm actually planning on continuing to work on this a whole bunch over the next year. At least the rest of this year. It's got a setup script so that when you clone the template or just copy and paste it, whatever you want to do, it can set up all the values, instead of my name, it's your name, and change the title and description. It also has a little newer, little more experimental hydration script that can take an existing repo, i.e. one of my existing repos is what I've been using it on, and replace its existing tooling with the template. Eventually, I'd like to turn this into a create whatever app. So create TypeScript node app or some such. Yeah, so that's exciting. Also, it has a lot of other tooling all contributors. Look at that beautiful table. All these smiling, happy faces. Yeah, good stuff. Love the question. Thanks for asking. What's my go-to ESLint config? All right. So now that I'm done with the for sell Next.js stuff, what did I say? Oh yeah, GitHub notifications. I might not have time for my personal site. Oh well. Because GitHub notifications, to my knowledge, does not have a first-party way of filtering out notifications from things like Dependabot and Renovate. I'm just going to unsubscribe, as I always do every 5, 10, 20 minutes. And I've only got these 4, so that's nice. Let's look at them. So we have a pinned, just going through these in order. Seeing if I have to take any action here. Issue 1192. We have a, oh my God, it's freaking huge. Yeah, Brad and I hijacked the OP. Say, we have a pinned issue for performance. Is it pinned actually? A long-standing issue. Yeah, it's not pinned, it's long-standing. Where if you have too many project configs in TypeScript ESLint, if you have a mono repo you're trying to lint and you tell us about all those TS configs, we add a memory. I actually got that in the Next.js code base, so that's fun. I forgot to say that in the Next.js PR. Tisk tisk. Where's the discussion linked to the... Doesn't link to the pull requests. Great. Note that this doesn't enable type checked rules. Internally, I tried and they out of memory. As a follow-up, I'd love to try splitting into a monorepo configuration. typescript-eslint.io, docs, performance. Where is it? Configure. There we go. Monorepo configuration. Try tinkering with the monorepo configuration and or using our new experimental use project service option. So yeah, fun fact. We have a super experimental early stage option in typescript-eslint that should speed up type checking quite nicely, but it's super early stage, very terrifying, almost forced a break in a release. Shout out Jake Bailey for catching something like the weekend before our regular Monday release that would have made us had to roll back. Upside to this is less configuration for users, especially if you have JS files like an ESLint config you want to lint. And it, in some cases, is way faster. Downside is, in some cases, it's way slower or uses more memory, so it needs to be optimized and investigated. Yeah. Anyway, so someone just posting on this issue. I don't need to do anything here. This is just informative info. Good to have. I don't need to take action. All right. So we have 3 things left. I'm going to go to the simplest one first. Bug v6 get parser services context true throwing error. This is something an awesome individual, shout out Rebecca Stevens, posted. Rebecca and I did some work on TS API utils. Rebecca did a bunch of work here and actually might be a contributor with more contributions than me in this package. Yeah, look at that. 123 to my 90. LOL. This is a bunch of utility functions. We made it because there was an old package, TS utils, that stopped being maintained. So, oh yeah, fun fact. You can see when this package was swapped out for TS utils, or instead of TS utils, the old one, in typescript-eslint v6. Look at that hockey stick of growth. Nearly 1 million downloads a week after months of 0, few hundred, maybe 1,000 or 2. Funny. Anyway, this is awaiting response from Rebecca since April. And Brad was on it. Brad will see this. All right, moving on. Don't need to take any action here. So, Jake Bailey, a member of the TypeScript team, awesome person, filed an issue on us a long time ago. We had talked with Jake privately about using that project service, and we finally got around to it. The latest version of typescript-eslint has that option, 610, and then, Eric the Swift. Do you work at a company or something? Oh, private. Oh, okay. I'm curious, what shows up in the API on GitHub for a private person? Empty array. All right. When they enable type-aware mode on a little over 2,500 TS modules, 220,000 lines of code. So this is existing type-aware mode. High memory pressure OMs. When there's a weaker machine. Tremendously low performance, 20-second timeout. Improved ID performance a lot, sometimes better performance, no OMs. Oh. So, yay for performance. Might be related. Okay, it's the same issue. Got it. That's what they posted on. Awesome. Thanks for trying this out. Is this something you'd be able to do to either of or both of? I'd love to try it out. Let one or more of us sign an NDA and take a look at. We can sign any NDA you need. Of us take a look at. If it's a private repo, file a standalone issue to help with more info. The templates will ask you for a bunch to help us investigate. Track the report. Really, and this is very true, really excited to see evidence of real life perf and OOM improvements. Yay. So I'm gonna say this is like a comment triage. Ooh, I have a message. Comment triage. Looks like our experimental use project service option is showing promise. Guess I don't need to call it experimental. All right, I have a meeting in 8 minutes, so I can be a little bit late to it. It's like a large group one, but I'm going to try to wrap up. So I'm not going to get to my personal blog migration stuff today, but I will get to the notification on my old blog repo from someone I've enjoyed working with before. So I'm not going to get to this large PR from Brad. Add types for FLAC and Fig files. That's a whole other thing. But I did see a notification in PR from, I can ignore that, from my old blog. So let's look at this issue. Boop. So I do have an RSS.xml on my old blog, which is fun fact here. I just posted a thing about speeding up the Centered app, but I'm actually working on a new site that has an open PR I've been pushing to for a little bit for like a blog on my new sites. And oh my God, I'm so freaking excited about this. There we go. Load in images. Ugh, I'm so happy about this freaking thing. Look at this. I got like smooth scrolling and fun little animations. I have like a super responsive design. Really pleased about this. There's this one annoying bug I need to file an issue for. I can't get the freaking fixed fade out underneath the scroll bar. So like there's this one little responsive, there it is, level aha, where it like partially overlaps the scroll. Super annoying. Anyway. Yeah, I'm real hype about this. So Pinjasor, Paul, really nice person. Met him at Minneapolis. Thanks for filing. This has been a pain in the butt for a while. Learner, glad you can make it. I saw you message me. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to respond yet. I'm actually finishing up very soon, but I appreciate you coming over. I'm in the late... Oh, I hope you're okay. Everything's all right. Late stages of migrating the blog to my new personal site. But if you want to send a PR, aka I see the PR, thanks for sending. That works too in the meantime. Heart. Love it. Boop. All right. Accepting PRs. Bug. And then I should mention this on the socials. Issue triage. Paul on Twitter? Paul is awesome. Side note. I don't believe so. Okay. Someone finally pointed out that my old blog's RSS filed an issue to point. People have mentioned it. Hasn't updated in ages. Can't wait to get the blog onto my new site. And I'm forgetting to add link cards. All right. Not gonna have time to review the PR, unfortunately. But hey, this was a real pleasure. Thanks for everyone who came over. Thanks again to the Raiders. Glad you all use and love ESLint. Also learner, hi. So I'm gonna see. Oh, Matteo Colina is live. So I'm gonna raid Matteo. Just one last note for anyone who wants any more information on me. I'm Josh Goldberg. I'm a full-time independent open source maintainer in the TypeScript ecosystem. Most notably, I work on TypeScript-eslint, the tool that lets you run ESLint and prettier and related tools on TypeScript code. I'm also the author of Learning TypeScript by O'Reilly book, Bang book. So if you want to learn TypeScript or practice your foundations for TypeScript, highly recommend that book, learningtypescript.com. I don't have a full-time job at a company. I do all this stuff independently. So if you want to sponsor me on GitHub and or TypeScript-eslint and Open Collective, that would really make my day and help me continue this independent open source work. And if there's anything I can do to help you in your TypeScript, open source, dev, etc., whatever, any or all of those things journey, please let me know, especially if you pay me for it, but not only if. With all that being said, I think we're ready to raid Mateo, so tell them I said hi. And looking forward, I'll probably raid again on, or stream again on Tuesday if I'm able to. Thanks, y'all. Bye.